Hello, in the next episode. Today I'm going to repair Nintendo Switch, which was sent in for the charging port repair. I've already checked this Nintendo and I found something very interesting, and today I'm going to show you how to rebuild the NAND memory with Hecate and some of the scripts. My customer probably bought it second hand and he couldn't charge it. So the problem with this switch is the fuses mismatched. I think the customer updated the system to the latest version, and with the latest version of the system, the previous custom firmware didn't work. So he downgraded the system to the previous version. And after that, you can have access to the custom firmware, but you won't have access to the original firmware. In some cases, you can have an access to the original firmware, but only through Hecate in RCM mode. Let's start the repair. Okay, so this switch came for the charging port repair. Let's check the charging port first. And the charging port looks absolutely fine. Yeah, no bent pins, nothing. It's in perfect condition. Yeah, but it's not charging. Alright, so if we know that the pins are good, let's plug my meter, amp meter, and see what we've got. So as you can see, it's charging, but there's no battery sign in the left corner, nothing at all. If I press the power button, the switch is completely dead. Alright, so let's disconnect the battery. Let's check the power management IC, if there is any short. Multimeter in the continuity mode, and let's check. Good, good, good. Alright, so the power management IC is perfect. So there's nothing wrong with it. So why it's not charging? Why it's not charging? Alright, let's plug the battery. Measure the voltage when we plug the charger. Alright, as you can see, charging. So let's check the NAND memory, yeah? And we've got 1.8. So that means the switch is already on. The switch is already on. For some reason, the software or NAND memory there's something wrong with it. Alright, so we got a voltage. It's charging, but it won't power on. It can be the problem with the NAND memory, or system might be corrupted, or it's in the RCM mode at the moment. So let's check. Let's take the jig and RCM loader and check if we can get to the Hecate up. Let me check this. So you can see RCM loader, it's very useful. It's something like that. And you've got payload here, so you don't need to connect to your computer or whatsoever. You just need this. But we will use the computer, probably, you will see. But first I'm going to check with this. Yeah. So and let me just find the SD card reader. Let's unplug the battery first. Alright, and I need to create the card. We got a jig. Let's plug the battery back again. And insert the jig. And plus and power. And yes, it's loading to Hecate. Ooh, but the battery is completely dead. No. Alright, so I plug different battery later, but first I show you how to prepare SD card. The best way is to take the card which is more it's about 64 gigs, because you know the system can take about 32 gigs, so use more than 32 gigs card, SD card. Just plug this to your reader. And I'm going to plug to the computer. As you can see, I've got already prepared a file. Just need to unrar it. Alright, so we've got all files. We need to rebuild emmc. So You can rebuild NAND memory if it's necessary, but we will see later. First, I'm going to show you how to create a switch SD card. So, if you plug the SD card to your computer, we need to format it. We need to go to the Rufus and let's choose non-bootable and let's format it in the FAT32 system. This is the best option because in many situations the switch doesn't have, the exFAT drivers, so all you need to do is to format it in the FAT32 system, file system. Let's start. Okay. Alright, so this is the freshly prepared SD card. Let's delete those files, we don't need them. And as you can see, the SD card is in FAT32 system. So let's go back to our folder, and as you can see, you've got switch SD folder. So what we need to do is to copy all those files to the SD card reader. Okay. You will get this file. I will attach the link in the description so you can download it and unpack it and use it. Alright, so we've got the SD card already prepared. Let's eject this. So we've got SD card already prepared, and let's take different battery. Alright, now we've got 38% of the battery, so it's quite good, should be enough. So let's check if we can go to the atmosphere. Alright, as you can see, someone was using this switch already in atmosphere maybe mode, or maybe SX core, I don't know. Wow, so many games. Alright, never mind. Let's check the system version. Alright, so we've got this is system version 11.0.0. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, this switch works perfectly fine in the custom firmware mode, but it doesn't in original system mode. Let's try. Let's restart this console and try to run it from the original system. Alright, it's no response, nothing at all. So we need to rebuild the NAND memory, if it's possible, of course. Alright, so let's unplug everything. So first step is to make a backup. This is very important. First step is to make a backup, yeah? So we're going to go to backup, emmc boot, first option. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to unplug this loader because it's not longer needed, and I'm going to plug the battery charger, and I'm going to back up the GPP physical partition. It will take a while, so I'm going to skip this to the end. Alright, as you can see, the process of the backup has finished. So we've got both of them, backup. So we need also to dump prod keys. This is how to do this. You need to press this button. It will ask you to go launch lockpick RCM. Just press continue. And to be careful because we've got a battery. We've got battery plugged in a different way, just temporary. We don't want it to unplug it. Alright. So by pressing volume down button, you can choose different option, and by pressing the power button you can confirm it. Alright, so we need to choose dump from SysNAND and press power button. Yeah, all done. All done. Alright, so need to power this off. Okay, now I'm going to plug USB-C cable to my computer. Plug it to the switch. You've heard the sound, so it's a good sign. We need to go to our folder. First, what you need to do is you need to install this file. I've already done it, so that's why I've got this option. So you need to start this installation first. As I said, I've already done it, so there's no point to do this again. And let's go to the RCM. As you can see, RCM device is detected. So now you need to find Tegra Explorer. What this software will do. Let's inject this. So we need to do firmware backup. Yeah, we need to do firmware backup. So we need to separate the firmware from the NAND memory. Okay, so it's done. Let's press any button. Alright, so we need to reboot to the bootloader. Okay, so now we need to use tools, USB tools. Alright, so we don't need to unplug and plug, the SD card every single time. We just need to use this option SD card in the tools menu, and this is the content of the SD card actually. So this is our backup, what we've done. There's so many files because this is in the FAT32 system. And we've got also the prod keys, which we will need soon. We've got the firmware, it's 11.0. So now we need to take that firmware, go to our folder, to the emmc hack AC gen, and we need to copy this firmware freshly dumped to this folder. Also, we need to copy prod keys. Alright, so now we need to run our console. So I'm going to type cmd, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, but we need to change the version of our firmware as it's 11.0.0 and press enter. Alright, we can close it. Oh, but this is a problem here, because we've got exFAT. So let's type it again here. Oh, I've done a mistake, so we need to do this option. So once again, right click, 11 or 0.0, exFAT. You can close it. So as you can see, we've got another folder in FAT32 system, because this system was in exFAT. So the best way is to do in the FAT32, because you can make sure it will 100% be working. Alright, so we've got freshly created system. Alright, so now what we need to do is go to our card in the switch. We need to create the new folder. I'm going to create folder name reset. And we need to copy system. Also the boot base. And we can close it, and from our folder we need to find system restore v3.de. Alright, so in our reset folder we've got system boot.base and system restore v3.de. To do this like this, eject, and now we can press close. So let's go back home and reboot to the RCM mode. Let's go to the Tegra RCM. And inject payload. So what we need to do is to browse SD card and find our folder. It's called reset, yeah? Reset. And now we need to choose our script, system restore v3.de, and press power button. Let's go down and choose launch script. Yeah, and now we need to restore both of them. Alright, let's So let's reboot now to the bootloader update and try to start atmosphere. Let's try to reboot it to the original firmware. Oh, I did something wrong. Plus and power. And yes, we've got it. We've got it. Let's try now to turn this off and to plug, the charger and see if we can see the sign. If not, the last step is probably to update the system to the latest version and see if that helps. Why this happened? In the main processor, APU, there is more than 3000 fuses, and each time when you update the system, some fuses get burned. This is some kind of protection to don't let you come back to the previous version of the system. Somebody had this console before and he updated it to the latest system version. I think it was running SX OS, so which is quite limited because it doesn't support the latest version of the system, and he downgraded the system to version 11, and it did let him use custom firmware but not original firmware because some fuses have been burned, and that's why we couldn't start an original system. So what I'm going to do before I update, I'm going to try to power off this console and boot it from the original system. Alright. Because now we had to use RCM loader, to start original system, but it's not the point. My customer wants start original system straight away. He doesn't want to use custom firmware. He just needs to use the original firmware. So, alright, so let's turn this off. Let's take out our jig. Alright, so the console is off. Let's try to start it. You see? And still nothing. And still nothing. So if we update the system right now, everything will come back to normal. But each system version has got some burned fuses, as you can see. Version number 10 has got 30. Our switch has got 14. Right, so now what we need to do is to factory reset this console. So we can use different option like system wipe. Alright, we could start, we could launch the original firmware and then do the, the factory reset. But I'm going to do this through Tegra Explorer to show you how to do this. So I'm going to unplug this. Plug my USB to my computer. And now we need to reboot to RCM. The Tegra Explorer, inject, and we need to do system wipe. Alright, so let's try to reboot normally. And still nothing. So let's eject our RCM router. Let's start stock. Alright, so our script just wiped the console. We just need to attach the Joy-Cons. Alright, so again, yes, there's nothing to worry about. Our SD card is safe, but we won't reboot it again, so let's eject one more time our RCM loader. And the stock. So now we can update the console without worrying about to get it banned, you know what I mean? Because normally you can get it banned if it detects, different software. But as you could see before, it was loads of game, tinfoil up, etc, etc. So if we updated it before, we could be banned. So now we've got fresh version of the system, factory reset. So what we need to do is go to the settings, to the system, and update the system to the latest edition. So now we can disconnect our And this is the moment of truth. Yes! 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 So we don't need an RCM loader anymore. So let me check this. And now we've got version 13.2.1. So this is the latest version. Alright, so let me just turn this off. Alright, so first step, when I plug the charger, for any switch, when it's off, it's going to power on. And it should be like that in this case. We should see the yes, so it's a good sign. We've got it. Okay, I'm going to check every single function. I'm going to check the game card reader if it's read the game, and in the docking station, yeah. Alright, so now the console works as my customer wanted. So let's power this off and let's try to start atmosphere on it. Let's go to the fuzzy. So now, because this is the latest system, we can't use atmosphere anymore. Because this is version the version of the system is 13.2.1. Let's download this. Let's remove the SD card. And again. Need to copy. Replace. And we need to update the fuzzy. Alright. I'm going to apply the card. Jig. Alright, the battery is not charged very well. Alright, we've got only 7%. So I'm going to plug the charger. Yeah, charging. Alright, so now
Can you feel that?
and voila! And as you could see, we could run Atmosphere on version 13.2.1. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.